It's all about the Benjamins, baby. These Benjamins, of course. $100 bills adorned with a portrait of Benjamin Franklin. But have you ever wondered why it's his face on the bill? Or why we put faces of presidents and some non-presidents on American money? Well, dear viewers, I will be answering that very question as I explain the history of the people on the money of these United States. Money has been around for about as long as civilization has existed. Before metal coins, many different things were used as money, like clay tablets, beads, and shells. The first metal coins were from Lydia, an ancient civilization in modern-day Turkey. The usefulness, durability, and popularity of these coins caused other neighboring civilizations, like the Greeks, to adopt the practice. It wasn't long before the faces of powerful people, like kings and emperors, adorned these coins. After America's founding, the opinion was that presidents or other founding fathers shouldn't be put on the money. We had just broken from a monarchy and didn't want to adopt their tradition of putting leaders on the coins. So for the first almost 150 years of the Republic, no presidents were featured on our coinage. Instead, Lady Liberty, a symbol of freedom and democracy, was on the front of coins, while the American eagle was on the back. Until finally, in the year 1909, the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, President Teddy Roosevelt championed an initiative to put Lincoln on the penny. The design was based on a sculpture by Victor David Brenner, which is why the bust of Lincoln is facing the opposite direction from everyone else. It was originally going to be commemorative and only last 1 year, but the Lincoln penny proved so popular with the public that the U.S. Mint decided to keep it ever since. 27 years later, in 1932, the bicentennial celebration of Washington's birth, George Washington got his turn to be on a coin, this time the quarter. Again, it was designed to be only for a year, but was extended to this day due to its popularity. With these two examples, the floodgates were opened. In 1938, Thomas Jefferson, the third president and writer of the Declaration of Independence, was put on the nickel. In 1946, after the Second World War and President Frederick Delano Roosevelt's death, there was a grassroots campaign to get him on a coin, and the U.S. Mint was more than happy to put him on the dime. After the assassination of President John F. Kennedy in 1963, the Mint wasted no time in putting his portrait on the $50, which is a coin we don't see too often. Speaking of, dollar coins have not been particularly popular in the United States, but they are made and are still in circulation. In 1971, Dwight D. Eisenhower was put on a dollar coin, but it only ran till 1978. Susan B. Anthony was also put on a dollar coin, but the coins were somewhat unpopular because of their confusion with quarters. So it was replaced by the current dollar coin, which features a portrait of Sacagawea, the Native American woman who guided Lewis and Clark on their famous exploration. Moving on to notes. The first paper money was created in the Tang Dynasty in China during the 7th century. So by the time the United States was founded, paper money had been around for centuries. But surprisingly, the federal government of the U.S. didn't start printing banknotes until 1861, almost 100 years after the country's founding. Before that point, private banks were permitted to simply print their own notes. So there were dozens, if not hundreds, of different paper currencies in the U.S. at the time. As I said, the U.S. government started printing greenbacks, named so because of the green ink used, in 1861. As a way of paying for expenses related to the Civil War. At this point, though it was before any president ended up on a coin, the American people seemed fine with the idea of putting a president or other political leaders on the bills. The first U.S. banknotes had some of the classics, like George Washington and Alexander Hamilton, but it also had some surprises, like Abraham Lincoln, who of course we're used to seeing now, but keep in mind he was still the president at the time. And of course you all know Salmon Portland Chase. No? Well, he was the Treasury Secretary under Lincoln, so I guess that makes sense. As time went on, there were a great number of people who showed up on the bills, many presidents, senators, cabinet members, and so on. Two noteworthy people I want to mention were Martha Washington, George Washington's wife and First Lady of the United States. She, to this day, is the only woman to show up on a U.S. banknote. And Running Antelope, a Sioux chief of the Hunkpapa Indians. He is the only Native American and person of color to show up on American paper money. Man, that is a bit embarrassing. In 1928, the current slate of portraits on American paper money was solidified. Washington on the 1, Jefferson on the 2, Lincoln on the 5, Hamilton on the 10, Jackson on the 20, Grant on the 50, and Franklin on the 100. It was confirmed in 2016 that Harriet Tubman, the great abolitionist and political activist, would be replacing Andrew Jackson on the $20 bill, becoming the first African-American woman and first Black American, period, to be featured on American paper money. The change was set to happen in 2020, but unfortunately it has been postponed until 2028. At that time, the $10 and $50 notes will also have redesigns, so we will all have to wait and see. Hello, thanks for watching my video about American money. Please like the video if you liked it. Please subscribe if you want to be updated every time I upload a new video, and consider sharing the video with your friends. And check out some of my other videos if you want to learn more. Bye!